If you like the content that we're pushing out, please like, share, and of course subscribe. And let us know in the comments what you think about our videos. Like, why would you watch it and not tell us what's going on? And I hope to see you later on. Peace out. Welcome to another video, you guys. This is a little minor video before we actually do the Infinity War discussion. Well, by the time this video gets released, the Infinity War discussion video will probably be right after, or it'll probably be already posted, so we'll see how that works out. But this video is just to see what you guys think about the Infinity War movie so far, because in my personal opinion, I did enjoy it. In terms of a grade that we usually give it on the channel, I gave it about like a B+, A-. Now, when I say B+, A-, I mean like the movie was really enjoyable, really good, but there were some things that they could improve on, at least in my opinion, that I felt that they could have done better. Now, I'm going to kind of go over some of those things. Number one, the first issue I really had with the movie was the fact that I felt like the first movie should have been more of Thanos just collecting the stones. Now, they did a lot of that in this movie where it wasn't too much action. There was a lot of backstory regarding Thanos and what his motivations was, as well as some of the reason why he does what he does on a regular day-to-day basis, which I really enjoyed about the movie overall. So I did not have a problem with that. What I had a problem with is the fact that he kind of, how can I say, he was humanized a lot. And when I say humanized, they made him very relatable to us as the audience. And I understand why, because in terms of villains, it's a lot easier for people to kind of get on board with villains when they can understand their point of view and where they're coming from. But the reason why I feel like in this case, at least for Thanos, the reason why I wouldn't really fit his character based on his Marvel comic book origin is the fact that he was just an overall bad guy in terms of what he wanted to do with the universe. He was relatively selfish, and his goal was just simply to get laid by Mistress Death. That was really that simple. In the movie, they gave him a more of a black and white and gray kind of point of view, where it's like he felt like the universe was overpopulated, and much like people believe about the earth, that the earth is very overpopulated, or at least it will be at some point, in that eventually we'll run out of resources, food, water, or whatever the case may be. A lot of people felt like his role was very relatable, because in reality he was not completely entirely wrong. Now, they did the same stance for Black Panther when it came to Killmonger, because his point of view and his stance and how he did things was completely wrong, which is the reason why Wakanda ended up splitting in terms of those who were faithful to T'Challa and those who were actually in favor of Killmonger. Now, Thanos, as a villain of a cosmic universe, I feel like his character shouldn't have been so gray in terms of his motives and what he wanted to do. In a villain like this, you should really just make him either a completely bad guy or a completely good guy in terms of, you know, his motivations. There shouldn't be like that shade of gray in there where it's like, okay, what he's doing is wrong, the means in which he's doing it is absolutely wrong, but his motivation comes from a place that can be completely understood, and I see why he would do it, because in reality it does kind of make sense, because his goal in the movie, spoiler alert, was simply to erase half the life in the universe, not just to please Mistress Death like he did in the Marvel comic book Infinity Gauntlet run, but also the reason why he wanted to wipe out half the life in the universe was because if he did that, then half the life on each planet, or whatever the case may be in the universe, it will not be overpopulated and resources will not go so quickly, as well as the fact that eventually those planets will prosper again, and then if not, they will die out, and then there'll be more space in the universe, then life will begin anew again on that planet, and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, resources will always be there for whatever life that will take place on that planet. And in reality, it was not a bad goal, because we can relate, the earth is going to be, at least at some point, overpopulated because it's too many people, too many animals. And as human beings, we are draining a lot of the resources and we're polluting our own planet. And if we did extinguish half the life on the universe, well, half the life on the planet, excuse me, we would actually be a lot better off, because not as many people will be draining the resources, and there will be a lot less pollution, and there will be a lot more resources able to go around to everyone else on the planet, because half of the life is gone on that planet, which he was doing even before he obtained the Infinity Gauntlet in the Infinity War movie. So that's really a big one for me, where his character was just really made into almost this anti-hero kind of thing, and it really was a conflicting kind of feeling watching the movie in regards to this aspect. Now, number two, I felt like a lot of the time they focused a lot on Iron Man, which I completely understand, because he was the basis in which the group was created. So I completely understand why they would do it, but at the same time, I feel like they should have really explored the characters who will be more likely to be the reason why the tide was turned. Like, I feel like they should have put a little bit more time on Doctor Strange and a little bit of what he can do and his abilities, even though he did get a lot of screen time. And overall, I do feel like they really didn't explore some of the other characters who were a lot more powerful, who should have been used, like the Scarlet Witch, because of the fact that she's extremely powerful and she actually changed the tide of the battle at the end of the movie, as well as Thor coming back with Stormbreaker, and it's mostly his journey on how to get his new hammer. And even though they modified the Ultimate Universe hammer and the creation of it, you know, they did little things like that I felt like should have been used a little bit more, right, compared to what was actually displayed in the movie. And the final thing is the Infinity Gauntlet and the gems itself. I feel like in the movie the Infinity Gauntlet and the gems were severely cut in terms of their power, but in reality it really wasn't, because he was able to wipe out half the life in the universe with the snap of his finger. So I feel like they didn't really display the power of the Infinity Gauntlet very well. And certain moments they did, and they took it directly out of the Infinity Gauntlet comic book that took place, but it really didn't emphasize how powerful these gems were and the damage that it can possibly do in the hands of someone who feels like they are entitled to that kind of power, someone who is like Thanos. They didn't really explore that enough, and I felt like they kind of underplayed their abilities a little bit. Rather than him throwing a whole moon, he actually just threw pieces of it into the earth and then teleported it into the atmosphere and threw it at Iron Man and all that stuff in Doctor Strange during that big fight. But these are just a few of the things that kind of bothered me about the movie. Not necessarily that completely ruined it, but something that I felt like they probably could have done a little bit better. And the next video, or the video that you'll probably see after this, will be more of an overall discussion and theories for Avengers Infinity War Part 2, aka Avengers 4. So if you're new to the channel, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe, and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. And I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out, Zaddy.